They said you were done, that you lost your edge, that life had broken you beyond repair. But here's the truth. They were just terrified of your silence, because deep down they knew the test was never about winning or losing. It was about surviving what they couldn't. While they were busy watching you fall, the universe was watching how you got back up. And that's what separates you from them. You didn't just endure the storm, you became the calm that followed it. Now, look around. Everything's quieter than it used to be, not because nothing's happening, but because your energy shifted. The universe closed certain doors so that you could finally see who was never meant to walk beside you. The enemies who once laughed are now whispering. The people who doubted you are suddenly curious. There's a strange kind of fear in their eyes now, a quiet panic, because they realize they can't hurt someone who already survived what was meant to destroy them. Before we go deeper, take a second, press that like button, subscribe, and keep this energy alive. You're not just watching a video, you're part of a movement that the universe itself recognizes. Every time you share or engage, you amplify a frequency that was meant to be heard. Let's pay this message forward, so more chosen ones remember who they are. You see, the exam you just passed wasn't written on paper. It was written in sleepless nights, unanswered questions, fake smiles, and silent prayers whispered into the void. You didn't know you were being tested when you walked through rejection, betrayal, or loneliness, but the universe was there, taking notes. Every time you wanted to quit but didn't, it marked that down. Every time you forgave when you had every reason to hate, it circled your name in gold. And when you walked away from people who tried to destroy your peace, it stamped your soul with the words, "Ready." That's why everything feels different now. You've entered a new level of awareness where peace feels more powerful than revenge, and stillness feels louder than words. The universe didn't reward you with noise. It rewarded you with silence, because silence is sacred. It's the sound of your old self fading and your true power rising. Your enemies can't read this new version of you because they only knew how to fight the broken one. They keep replaying old memories, trying to find the version of you that used to need them. But that person doesn't exist anymore. Think of this moment as the calm after a long war. You're still standing, but not because you were the strongest fighter, because you were the most obedient student. The universe threw lessons at you disguised as loss, betrayal, and endings. You didn't complain. You evolved. You learned how to build peace where chaos lived. You learned how to let go of what begged to stay. You learned how to love yourself when no one else did. That was the exam, and you passed with a score they can't comprehend. Do you remember how they mocked your patience, how they said you were wasting time? Those same people are now stuck in cycles you escaped. They still chase validation while you walk in purpose. They still talk while you build. They still plot. But their schemes fall flat because the universe stopped listening to their noise. Your alignment is your protection now. No weapon formed against you can prosper, not because you're untouchable, but because you've outgrown their reach. There's something poetic about how everything flipped. The ones who once pitied you now envy your peace. The ones who thought you'd never rise now whisper your name like a warning. That's what happens when the universe declares someone ready. It doesn't need your enemy's permission. It simply elevates you in front of them and forces them to watch. So, if you're feeling that stillness right now, don't mistake it for emptiness. It's graduation day. You're walking out of a classroom that taught you resilience, self-worth, and emotional mastery. You didn't study for this exam, but every heartbreak, every betrayal, every lonely night was your preparation. The universe doesn't test the weak, it refines the strong. And you, chosen one, have been refined to perfection. This is your moment of confirmation. You passed the hardest exam life could give, and you didn't even realize it until now. That's why everything feels lighter, clearer, and sharper. The universe isn't just handing you peace. It's handing you dominion. You've earned the right to move differently, to speak with quiet power, to walk away without guilt. You've earned the right to be misunderstood by those who haven't taken the same exam. They'll call it luck, timing, or coincidence, but deep down, you'll know the truth. You were tested in secret, promoted in silence, and revealed in power. The universe doesn't announce its chosen ones with noise. It crowns them with peace. And you, right now, are wearing that crown, whether you see it or not. So stand tall. The universe isn't saying you're perfect. It's saying you're ready. And hey, you, the one who's been through the unseen battles and passed tests no one even knew existed, this part is for you. If you've ever felt like the universe was silently watching, grading every moment you kept your faith, your patience, your strength, then you already know something big has shifted. Drop the number 777 in the comments if you can feel it, the confirmation that you didn't just survive, you actually passed. The universe has stamped your name with readiness, and now it's time to see what that truly means. Because what's coming next isn't random. It's a breakdown of how you unknowingly aced the hardest exam of your life. So take a deep breath, sit with this moment, and don't rush it. You've earned the right to understand what really happened behind the scenes. And trust me, if you are one of the true chosen ones, you'll feel the pull to stay until the very end. This message was designed for your soul. Now let's get into it, step by step. Number 1, you were tested in a code no human could crack. They tried to read your downfall like an open book, not realizing it was written in a language their small minds could never understand. They thought they knew what was happening to you. They watched you lose things, lose people, lose comfort, and they smirked like spectators at your suffering. But what they didn't realize was that they were watching a sacred experiment in progress. You weren't falling apart, you were being rewritten. Every silence, every rejection, every ending was part of a secret test designed by the universe itself, a test written in codes only the strong could survive. The truth is, they couldn't understand it because it wasn't their test to read. You were walking through lessons that would have destroyed them within days. See, the universe never announces when it's testing its chosen ones. It doesn't hand you a syllabus. It doesn't give you clues. It just throws storms your way and watches what you do when everything collapses. You were examined through heartbreak, betrayal, and abandonment. You were pushed to the point where even hope started to look like a lie. And still, you kept moving. That's what terrifies them. Because while they complain about obstacles, you were quietly acing exams they couldn't even comprehend. You were tested in silence, no validation, no applause, no signs from above, just you and the universe locked in an invisible conversation. That's why they couldn't understand you. To them, your losses looked like weakness. Your isolation looked like punishment. But what they missed was the blueprint behind your struggle. The universe wasn't punishing you. It was refining you, translating your pain into wisdom. You weren't falling behind. You were being pulled ahead to a level their energy could never reach. They gossip about how you disappeared. They whisper about why you changed. But here's the truth. They never spoke your language. They mocked your silence, but your silence was sacred. It was the sound of alignment forming. You were learning how to move when no one believed in you. You were being taught how to trust what can't be seen, how to keep your faith steady when every external voice screamed, "Give up." That's the part they'll never understand. You were never meant to be understood. You were meant to be remembered. And maybe you've asked yourself, why me? Why did I have to go through so much? Here's the answer: because the universe can't build endurance in comfort. It can't reveal your strength in ease. You were chosen to be pressure tested, and you passed. You kept your integrity when betrayal would have made you bitter. You held your peace when revenge was the easier route. You stayed kind in a world that rewards cruelty. That's what made you different. That's what made you ready. Let's talk about them for a second. The ones who laughed, doubted, and prayed for your downfall. They thought they broke you when they walked away. They thought they destroyed you when they betrayed your trust. But what they really did was sign your certificate of transformation. They became the assistants in your training. Every lie, every loss, every rejection, they were ingredients in your evolution. The universe used their envy as your sharpening stone. That's why they're uneasy now. That's why they can't look you in the eye. Deep down, they know the roles have reversed. You were tested in a code they could never crack because the exam was tailored to your soul. The lessons weren't meant to make sense to them. They were meant to make you unstoppable. And now, while they're still trying to decode how you survived, the universe has already started rewarding your endurance. The tables turned silently, and they didn't even notice when it happened. The same mouths that cursed you are now forced to speak your name with respect. The same eyes that rolled at your dreams now watch in disbelief as you rise. Let me remind you, pain wasn't your punishment, it was your preparation. The universe wasn't testing if you could avoid hardship. It was testing if you could grow through it. You learned the discipline of detachment, the power of stillness, the art of waiting without giving up. That's mastery, and it can't be taught. It has to be lived. You didn't study for this test. You became the answer key. They wanted to see you quit, but you stayed silent and worked. They wanted to see you beg, but you built yourself instead. They wanted to see you embarrassed, but you came back better. That's what breaks them now, the realization that they became the lesson in your success story. Their hate was your motivation. Their gossip was your signal to keep going. Their absence became your clarity. The universe was never blind. It was documenting everything. And now the results are out. You didn't just pass. You mastered the exam. You earned the kind of wisdom that can't be bought or borrowed. You speak a different language now, the language of endurance, resilience, and power. That's why the same people who dismissed you are now uncomfortable in your presence. They sense your energy shifted. They feel the frequency difference. You've become something they can't manipulate anymore. Here's a brutal fact. They wanted you to fail because your resilience exposes their weakness. Your calmness under pressure highlights their instability. Your growth forces them to confront their own stagnation. That's why they resent you. Not because of what you did, but because of who you became despite what they did. You remind them of what they could have been if they had courage. So no, you weren't tested in a language only heaven understood. You were tested in a frequency only the chosen can survive. The universe whispered instructions in your storms, and you listened. You translated pain into purpose, confusion into clarity, endings into evolution. That's why the air feels different around you now, because you're no longer someone trying to prove your worth. You are the proof. And if you ever wonder why the universe chose you for such a brutal exam, remember this. It gives the hardest tests to the souls it plans to elevate the highest. You were never cursed. You were being calibrated. Every unanswered cry, every delayed dream, every closed door, it was all part of a secret alignment leading you to this moment. Now you stand at the threshold of something massive, not because life suddenly got easier, but because you finally understood the pattern. You speak the language now. You understand the silence. You read between the chaos. You are fluent in endurance, fluent in peace, fluent in power. And that fluency, that's what makes you untouchable. They can study your moves, copy your style, mimic your confidence, but they'll never decode your soul, because your journey was written in a dialect reserved only for the chosen. You didn't just pass the exam, you became the standard. Number 2. The universe grades what the world can't see. They mocked your delay because they measured your progress by clocks and calendars, never realizing the universe was grading by character, not convenience. The world loves numbers, trophies, titles, and applause. It praises noise and mistakes, silence for failure. Down here, people are obsessed with speed, with appearance, with the illusion of winning. But the universe, it plays a longer game. It doesn't hand out medals for what shines, it rewards what survives. While they were counting how many steps ahead or behind you were, the universe was watching something they couldn't see. Your integrity when nobody was watching, your patience when life went cold, your discipline when giving up would have been easier. You see, the universe's grading system doesn't use numbers, it uses truth. It doesn't care about how many people cheered for you. It cares about how many times you kept your peace when they booed. It doesn't measure wealth or fame. It measures how much of your soul you kept clean while walking through dirty situations. Imagine this. 2 people are in the same storm. One screams, blames, and runs, while the other stands still, breathing through the chaos, trusting the unseen process. Who do you think passes the test? The one who performs, or the one who endures? The universe doesn't reward who shouts the loudest. It rewards who keeps faith the longest. That's why so many people misunderstood your journey. To them, you looked like you were falling behind. You didn't rush to prove anything. You weren't showing off your progress, chasing validation, or competing in their shallow race. They laughed because they couldn't see what was happening in secret. While they built followers, you built foundations. While they collected compliments, you collected lessons. While they were busy performing for approval, you were being shaped for purpose. The truth is, you were taking an exam graded in silence. Every disappointment you faced wasn't a penalty. It was an essay question from the universe. Will you still believe when everything around you says stop? Every heartbreak was a test in endurance. Can you still love without losing yourself? Every rejection was a pop quiz in trust. Can you still hold your worth when no one else sees it? And each time you said yes, each time you refused to bow to bitterness, your score rose higher. Let's be real. The world's grading system is rigged. It rewards shortcuts, celebrates pretense, and glorifies noise. People cheat their way to visibility, fake their way to fame, and call it success. But the universe sees through all of it. It doesn't care about the spotlight. It watches how you behave when no one's clapping. Imagine 2 seeds planted in the dark. One grows fast, tall, and loud, but dies when the first storm comes. The other grows slowly, taking its time to build roots so deep that when the storm hits, it doesn't move. You are that second seed, the one that didn't grow fast, but grew right. The universe delays what's unstable because it refuses to build greatness on shaky ground. So yes, while you were crying over missed opportunities, the universe was protecting your destiny from collapse. Some doors didn't open because walking through them would have cost you your peace. Some people left because they couldn't go where your energy was headed. Some blessings were delayed because you were still surrounded by those who would have mishandled them. What you called rejection was really redirection. What you called delay was divine alignment. You might have asked yourself, why didn't that job work out? Why did that person leave? Why did that dream take so long? Because the universe doesn't promote based on appearance. It promotes based on readiness. It doesn't care how good something looks on paper. It cares about how stable it will be in your hands. If the universe gave you everything you wanted when you wanted it, it would have destroyed you before you had the strength to carry it. So, instead of giving you comfort, it gave you capacity. Instead of applause, it gave you awareness. The slow path is the safe path when the universe is the one driving. Every delay was a form of mercy. Every ending was a recalibration. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. Think about this. When a rocket is launched, it spends 90% of its fuel just breaking through the atmosphere. It looks like nothing's happening for a long time, but once it breaks through, it glides effortlessly. That's you. The universe watched how you handled resistance, how you waited without losing faith, how you didn't let bitterness take over. That's why your elevation is smooth now, because your roots are strong enough to hold it. The people who mocked you for being too quiet are now wondering how you made it this far. The ones who called you unlucky are starting to realize your delays were divine timing. They spent their energy trying to look ready, while you spent yours becoming ready. That's why the universe picked you for this moment. It saw your persistence in private. It saw the times you stayed silent when chaos called your name. It saw the nights you kept faith when logic said there was none left to keep. You don't fail the universe's test when you lose. You fail it when you stop learning. So when they judged you by their scoreboard, let them. Their numbers don't mean anything in a grading system that's written in soul language. They can keep their applause. You've got alignment. They can chase validation. You've got vision. They can build temporary fame. You're building eternal foundation. The universe has already given you an A+ in the only subject that matters, growth under pressure. And maybe now you're looking back and realizing just how much you've changed, how you no longer react to chaos, how peace feels like power, how solitude feels like home. That's not coincidence, that's proof of promotion. The universe doesn't send you a diploma, it changes your frequency. Suddenly, things that used to break you don't even move you. People who used to drain you can't reach you. You don't chase anymore, because what's meant for you now finds its way easily. That's how you know you passed. Imagine this. Everyone is running a race, shouting, sweating and pushing, but you're walking calmly, smiling, unbothered. They don't understand it because they're still graded by speed, while you've already transcended the test. The universe doesn't rush what's eternal. It knows exactly when to crown its chosen ones, and when that time comes, no human opinion can delay it. They thought your quiet seasons were punishment, but they were actually your certification process. The universe doesn't stamp mediocrity, it refines excellence. It let you burn in the fire so that when you emerged, you'd be untouchable. You didn't just survive delay, you mastered patience. You didn't just endure pain, you translated it into wisdom. That's the kind of score the world can't measure. So now, let them keep their earthly trophies. Let them brag about numbers, followers, and fake success stories. You, chosen one, are operating on a higher frequency, graded by unseen criteria that no crowd could ever understand. Your peace is your proof. Your calm is your crown. Your patience is your promotion. And as you stand here, after everything you've lost, everything you've learned, everything you've endured, remember this: the universe never miscalculates. Every setback was a setup. Every silence was strategy. Every no was protection. You passed every test not because you had answers, but because you refused to quit searching for meaning. That's what separates you from them. So walk forward knowing this. The world may never understand how you won, but the universe does. You didn't need validation. You didn't need applause. You needed the lesson, and now that you've learned it, your rise is inevitable. Because when the universe declares you ready, not even gravity can hold you down. Number 3. The universe watched you in the quiet. They thought your silence meant defeat, but the universe was taking notes in every breath you refused to give up. You weren't abandoned, you were examined. The silence you felt wasn't a void, it was the sound of your test unfolding. Think about it. When a student takes an exam, the teacher doesn't speak. No hints, no guidance, no comfort, just quiet observation. That's exactly what was happening to you. The universe wasn't ignoring your pain, it was measuring your patience. It wasn't punishing you for not hearing answers, it was checking if you remembered what you'd already learned. That silence you hated. It was sacred. It was the space where your strength was being proven. Imagine this. You're walking through a dark tunnel. You can't see the end, you can't hear footsteps, and there's no light. Yet something in you keeps walking. That's not confusion, that's trust. That's what the universe was watching. It wanted to see if you could keep moving even when logic said stop. It wanted to see if your faith could breathe without oxygen. Most people crumble in that silence. They beg for signs, force outcomes, or trade peace for panic. But you didn't. You stood still. You endured the quiet storm. That's why the universe stamped you with readiness. The loudest proof of faith is how you behave when no one, not even the universe, seems to answer. They whispered that you were forgotten. They said nothing was happening for you. They measured your life by visible results. But what they never saw was the invisible progress. The way your mind toughened, your boundaries sharpened, your energy shifted. They couldn't see that while you looked still, your spirit was expanding. The silence wasn't stagnation. It was recalibration. You might have asked yourself, why didn't the universe send a sign? Why did it go so quiet when I needed clarity the most? Because silence is the final exam of trust. Anyone can believe when the path is lit, but only the chosen can walk blindfolded and still move forward. You weren't being ignored, you were being trusted with silence. That's the kind of test given only to those strong enough to pass without guidance. Now everything makes sense. The delays, the quiet nights, the unanswered prayers, they weren't proof of absence. They were proof of observation. The universe was grading your reactions, not your requests. It was asking, will you hold your peace or will you panic? Will you wait or will you force it? And you, despite everything, chose stillness. You chose trust. That's why your reward will speak louder than every moment of silence that ever haunted you. The universe's silence was never rejection. It was recognition. It already knew you had the answers. Number 4. Your detours were rigged to reveal your strength. They laughed at your wrong turns, not realizing every so-called mistake was a trap set by the universe to see who you'd become when the map burned. Not every wrong turn was failure. Some of them were hidden questions written into your path, preset tests disguised as chaos. The universe wasn't punishing you, it was provoking your potential. Every heartbreak, every loss, every betrayal was a scenario carefully designed to ask, who will you be now? Will you let this destroy you, or will you rise anyway? Will you choose resentment, or will you choose release? Those moments that shattered your plans weren't detours, they were directions. You were being shaped in real time, molded through fire, observed through pressure. The universe hides its hardest questions inside the messiest moments. Think back. That betrayal that tore you apart, it wasn't random. It was a question: will you let pain define you or refine you? That delay that tested your patience, it wasn't punishment, it was a question. Do you still trust timing when nothing makes sense? That rejection that bruised your ego, it was the universe asking, do you still believe in your worth when no one validates it? You didn't realize it then, but you were sitting in an unseen classroom. Every wrong turn was an exam, and every emotional response was an answer sheet being filled out by your actions. Imagine this: you're driving down a road that suddenly ends. You curse, you panic, you question why it happened, but somewhere miles away there's a hidden path waiting that connects perfectly to your true destination. The detour didn't destroy your route, it secured it. That's what the universe did with your life. It rerouted you through heartbreak to reveal resilience, through isolation to teach independence, through failure to unlock creativity. The people who hurt you, they were never your punishment, they were your preparation. Their betrayal became your awakening. Their exit forced your evolution. Some of the worst moments were simply the universe removing weak energy from your orbit. You didn't fail, you graduated from versions of yourself that no longer fit your future. The universe's hardest tests come disguised as wrong turns, and only the wise realize they were being redirected, not rejected. You may have asked yourself, why did I have to go through that? Why couldn't things just go smoothly for once? Because comfort doesn't reveal character, only chaos does. The universe doesn't test through blessings, it tests through pressure. It's easy to be calm when life is kind. It's easy to love when everyone loves you back. But the true exam happens when the world turns its back and you're forced to love, trust, and move forward anyway. That's when your answers mattered most, and you passed every single one. You could have become bitter, but you became better. You could have folded under betrayal, but you used it as fuel. You could have envied others' success, but you chose patience over jealousy. That's what separates you from those still repeating the same lessons. They keep failing the test because they keep responding with fear, envy, and resentment. But you kept showing up with faith, silence, and strength. You kept choosing higher ground. That's why your wrong turns led to right destinations. The detour doesn't delay your destiny, it disguises it. Look at your journey now. Every person who walked away, every plan that collapsed, every chapter that ended, they all conspired to deliver you to this exact moment. You didn't just survive, you decoded the universe's hidden curriculum. What looked like wasted time was really preparation. What looked like heartbreak was hidden guidance. Every no was protecting your yes. And here's the brutal truth. The universe could never promote you until it saw how you handled loss. It had to see if failure could break your morals. It had to see if waiting could poison your hope. It had to see if betrayal could make you bitter. But you refused to lose yourself in any of it. You didn't just endure the test, you exposed your strength in it. So now, when you look back, you'll see the pattern. Every so-called wrong turn was intentional. Every delay was strategy. Every closed door was direction. The universe wasn't asking if you could avoid pain. It was asking if you could remain pure inside it. And you did. That's why you're still here. That's why everything's about to align. Because once the universe knows your spirit can't be corrupted by chaos, it starts handing you power that can't be taken away. Number 5. Your silent sacrifices scored beyond the scale. They laughed because they couldn't see your progress, but the universe was scoring the nights you cried and still showed up. Nobody witnessed the quiet wars you fought. No one saw the nights you stared at the ceiling, drowning in exhaustion, but still whispered, "I'll try again tomorrow." They didn't see you breaking inside while still encouraging others to hold on. The world measures success by noise, but the universe measures it by endurance. And while others were busy chasing validation, you were building resilience in the dark. Every time you showed up without applause, every time you kept going when no one believed, it all counted. You weren't just surviving, you were collecting extra credit the world doesn't even know exists. The universe doesn't clap for consistency, but it never forgets it either. Imagine this: a student who finishes the exam, then stays after class to help others study. No one praises them, no spotlight shines, but the teacher sees. That's you. You gave when you had nothing left to give. You kept faith alive when logic said it was over. While everyone else wanted recognition, you wanted results. That's why your reward hits differently. It's not luck, it's accumulation. Every private tear became a deposit in your destiny account. And now the universe is paying interest with blessings you didn't even ask for. They said you were stuck. They said you weren't doing enough. But they never saw the internal grind, the emotional workouts that built your strength. They didn't see you choosing peace instead of revenge. They didn't see you letting go of grudges that could have easily consumed you. The universe saw all of it. It recorded every quiet decision that kept your soul clean, while everything around you tried to corrupt it. That's why your victory will look supernatural, because your preparation was invisible. You might have wondered, does anyone even notice how much I've sacrificed? Yes, the universe did. The moments you stayed calm instead of exploding, patient instead of bitter, faithful instead of fearful, those were your extra credit points. You went beyond what was required. You didn't just endure, you evolved. The universe hides its highest rewards behind the acts no one applauds, and that's why your blessings are about to unfold in ways that defy logic. You didn't just pass the test, you aced the unseen one. The universe doesn't just call you ready, it calls you exceptional. Number 6. You survived the storms that were built to bury you. They threw stones to bury you, without realizing you'd use every single one to build your foundation. Some of the battles you faced weren't meant to test you, they were meant to erase you. There were people, energies, and circumstances that came not to challenge you, but to end you. The universe watched as you were dragged through fires that burned others to ashes, and yet here you are, standing, breathing, sharper than ever. That's not luck, that's power, that's proof. The very things that were meant to destroy you became the tools that sculpted your strength. You didn't just survive, you outlasted, and the reason you felt such heavy resistance wasn't because you were cursed, it's because your existence carried a frequency that terrified weak souls. You represented everything they couldn't control. You were light in a world that feeds off confusion. You were clarity in environments built on chaos. That's why you were targeted. That's why the pressure was so relentless. But pressure creates diamonds, and you became one. The universe doesn't waste battles on the fragile. It refines warriors through fire. Imagine this: you're walking through a battlefield littered with the broken dreams of others. Everywhere you look, you see people who gave up halfway, people who couldn't carry the weight. You had every reason to join them, yet you kept walking. You didn't even realize it, but the universe was documenting your every step. Every tear you shed, every night you questioned your worth, every morning you rose again, it was all evidence. You weren't just enduring pain, you were collecting proof of your resilience. And maybe you've asked yourself, why did I have to go through so much? Why me? Because destruction doesn't chase what isn't dangerous. The opposition was proof of your importance. The reason the energy against you was so violent is because what's inside you is powerful enough to shift entire timelines. The chaos wasn't punishment, it was confirmation. You weren't being attacked because you were weak. You were being recognized as a threat, by everything that feeds off fear and limitation. You can't destroy someone who's made peace with fire. Yes, you cried. Yes, you lost things you thought you couldn't live without. Yes, you fell to your knees more times than you can count. But you kept getting up. You kept breathing through the smoke, trusting that something greater was forming in the heat. And now, that fire that once burned you has purified you. You didn't walk out the same. You walked out untouchable. You didn't just survive the warfare, you outlived it. The universe saw you win battles no one applauded. It saw you fight demons in silence and still protect your peace. It saw you lose everything and still choose love over hate. That's the kind of victory that can't be taught. It can only be earned. So now the energy is shifting. The storms have calmed, not because they're gone, but because they've learned to fear you. The universe doesn't just see you as a survivor anymore. It sees you as a conqueror. The attacks failed. The fire couldn't kill you. The pain couldn't silence you. And that's why doors are opening now, not as a gift, but as a reward. You didn't just pass the exam of endurance. You redefined what it means to be unbreakable. Number 7. The universe graded your faith, not your facts. They knew all the theories. You lived the truth. That's why you're passing tests they can't even understand. Anyone can talk strength when life is gentle. Anyone can sound wise when the sky is clear, but when the world caves in and silence becomes your only teacher, that's when the real exam begins. The universe never cared how much you knew. It cared how much you trusted. Because knowledge is safe. Trust is dangerous. Knowledge can quote the lesson. Trust lives it in the fire. And that's where you proved yourself. The universe doesn't test your memory. It tests your movement when the path disappears. You weren't asked to perform miracles. You were asked to keep walking when every sign pointed backward. You were asked to keep breathing when logic screamed, quit. You were asked to believe that the unseen was more real than the chaos in front of you. That's what graded you above the rest. People around you might have had more answers, more resources, more clarity, but they didn't have your endurance. They collapsed when things got uncertain. You didn't. You leaned into the unknown and trusted the universe's silence more than their noise. Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of a fog-covered bridge. You can't see the other side, can't see your next step. Most people freeze. You didn't. You took one step, then another, trusting that the bridge would build itself beneath your feet. That's what trust looks like. It's walking into darkness knowing the light will meet you halfway, and while others waited for signs, you became one. Maybe you wondered, why did it feel like I knew everything and yet nothing worked? Because the universe wasn't testing your intellect, it was testing your alignment. It didn't want to see what you could recite. It wanted to see what you could embody. Would you live your truth when it cost you peace? Would you trust timing when you had no timeline? Would you stand tall when support vanished? You answered every one of those questions in silence. And your persistence became your proof. The universe doesn't promote those who know, it promotes those who trust without proof. You weren't just tested on information, you were tested on conviction, and now the universe is promoting you not because you studied faith, but because you became it. You trusted when you had no evidence. You believed when everything said stop. That's why it's your time now, because trust was the one subject you mastered completely. Number 8, your delays were blueprints, not punishments. They mocked your pace because they didn't know the universe was building what can't collapse. You called it waiting, but the universe called it alignment. What you thought was delay wasn't punishment, it was precision. While you were pacing floors, asking why not me, the universe was rearranging the chessboard, removing what looked shiny but wasn't stable. Every closed door, every missed opportunity, every silent month had purpose. The world saw you standing still, but you were being calibrated. Because settling too soon would have cost you what was written for you. You weren't being held back. You were being held in place until your real timing caught up. The universe doesn't delay to deny. It delays to protect. Imagine this, a plane ready for takeoff, but weather conditions are unstable. To the impatient, the delay feels unfair, but to the wise, it's mercy. If you'd taken off too early, turbulence would have torn your wings off. The universe saw storms you didn't. It paused your plans, not to punish you, but to preserve you. Every "not yet" was a shield against the people who would have wasted your loyalty, the jobs that would have drained your spirit, and the versions of success that would have imprisoned your peace. You might have asked yourself, why does everything take longer for me? Because fast success is fragile. Slow growth builds power. Some people sprint into opportunities they can't sustain. They get the stage before they have the strength, the blessing before they've built the backbone. And when pressure comes, they crumble. But you were being built differently. Your delay was strength training. You learned how to stand still without falling apart. You learned how to wait without losing your mind. You learned that peace is not found in progress, but in patience. Quick blessings feed ego. Timed blessings feed purpose. The universe wasn't watching you suffer. It was watching you mature. It wanted to see if you'd still trust when the silence grew heavy, if you'd still believe when everyone else was accelerating. And you did. You didn't chase. You aligned. You didn't beg. You built. You didn't rush. You refined. That's why everything that once felt stuck is now shifting all at once, because the time is finally catching up to the preparation you endured. What you thought was a setback was strategy. What felt like punishment was protection. The universe didn't want you walking into a door that would collapse under your potential. It wanted to hand you one that would expand it. And now, the waiting is over. You're about to see that every delay was secretly designing your perfect arrival. Number 9, your name echoed in rooms you didn't even know existed. While they ignored you in public, the universe was speaking your name in secret. You thought you were forgotten. You thought your effort disappeared into the void. But behind the silence, the universe was busy whispering your name in places your feet hadn't yet reached. While you felt overlooked, your energy was traveling. Conversations were happening about you in rooms you didn't even know existed. Doors were quietly being built while you were still wondering why none would open. You weren't invisible. You were being introduced by frequency, not by presence. The universe doesn't announce greatness. It arranges it in secret first. Imagine this, a seed buried underground. It looks gone, covered in dirt, unseen. But beneath the surface, roots are forming, structure is being built, and alignment is taking shape. That was you. Your obscurity wasn't neglect. It was incubation. While you were questioning your timing, the universe was matching your name with opportunities that fit your vibration. You were being hidden because exposure too early would have ruined what was sacred. Some rooms had to be cleared before your arrival. Some people had to be replaced before they could meet you. The truth is, you weren't meant to network your way into destiny. You were meant to be summoned. The universe doesn't promote through noise, it promotes through whispers. And lately, your name has been echoing through conversations that were never supposed to include you. People are mentioning you in meetings you weren't invited to. Your energy has entered boardrooms, group chats, and creative circles without you being there physically. That's what happens when alignment replaces ambition. Your vibration starts working on your behalf. When the universe decides it's your turn, your name travels faster than your footsteps. Maybe you've asked yourself, why hasn't anyone recognized my value yet? Why do I keep working unseen? Because visibility was never the point. Credibility was. The universe was making sure your work, your integrity, and your resilience spoke louder than any introduction ever could. That's why you couldn't force certain doors. They required cosmic timing, not human effort. The right people couldn't see you until the moment was right. But when the signal hits, they won't be able to look away. You're about to walk into rooms where you'll be welcomed like they've known you forever. You won't need to prove who you are. The universe already did that for you. The silence wasn't absence. It was set up. Your name has already arrived where you're going next. And now the doors are about to open, not because you knocked, but because destiny whispered. Number 10. The universe didn't just approve you, it advanced you. They thought you survived. The universe knows you evolved. Passing a test means you made it through, but scoring a perfect 100%, that means you shattered the scale. You didn't just endure the storm, you mastered it. You didn't just crawl out, you came out crowned. You're not going back to the same battlegrounds that once wounded you, not repeating the same lessons you've already learned. You're stepping into a new level, one that demands power, not survival. The universe didn't just mark your paper with a pass, it stamped it with promotion. The universe doesn't recycle warriors, it reassigns them to higher realms. You see, some people barely make it through their tests and remain stuck in the same old patterns. They survive, but never ascend. You, on the other hand, didn't just pass. You overperformed. Your pain became your preparation, your silence became your sharpening, and your endurance became your signature strength. That's why this new chapter won't feel familiar. It's not supposed to. You're done surviving. You're leading now. You're not returning to the battlefield as a wounded soldier. You're walking in as a commander who now understands how wars are won. Imagine Joseph walking back into the pit he was thrown into. Impossible. Imagine David returning to the cave after wearing the crown. Absurd. Imagine Esther shrinking back into obscurity after saving an entire nation. Unthinkable. That's how ridiculous it would be for you to go back to who you were. The universe didn't carry you through all that fire just to place you back where you started. No, you've been elevated. You're now in a realm where your lessons have become leadership. The fire didn't just test you, it knighted you. You've graduated from proving yourself to others. You don't need to explain your growth anymore. The results will speak for you. The silence that once surrounded you was your initiation. The pressure that nearly crushed you was your promotion in disguise. Every delay, every rejection, every sleepless night was part of the universe's training curriculum, designed to make you unshakable. Now, the reward isn't just rest, it's reign. You've outgrown survival mode. You no longer react to storms, you redirect them. This is what happens when the universe declares you ready. You stop asking for permission and start walking in purpose. You were never meant to stay in the wilderness. It was a proving ground, not a permanent address. Survivors rebuild. The promoted rewrite the map. The universe isn't just giving you opportunities, it's giving you dominion. You've earned the right to move with authority because you've been forged by adversity. Everything that once broke you now bows to you. You are entering a phase where effort meets elevation, where alignment replaces anxiety, and where you no longer chase. Everything begins to find you. You didn't just pass the test, you rewrote what passing looks like. The universe didn't simply sign off on your resilience, it crowned you with leadership. This is not a return to old battles, this is your coronation. The test is over. The throne is waiting. And this time, you don't walk in as a student. You enter as the master of every lesson that once tried to destroy you. And now, chosen one, the test is complete. You've walked through fire, faced silence, and still came out shining. The universe has seen your resilience, your endurance, and your strength, and now it's your season to rise. You didn't just survive, you earned this elevation. Everything that once worked against you will now work for you. This is your moment of arrival, your declaration of readiness. If this message spoke to your spirit, press like, subscribe, and drop 77 in the comments to confirm your graduation. Share this with another chosen one who needs to remember they too are ready.